And I think, to me, this is what we see in DeFi today. Regulatory bodies don't understand the product. They don't understand the full extent and possibility of it. And therefore, instead of embracing it and really researching and trying to figure out how do we make this work, the initial reaction is, I'm just going to keep hammering it with a sledgehammer. So, personally, just me, I don't think every regulatory body is out to necessarily screw people over. Though, as we can see in the byproduct of a lot of these, civil suits that we've seen come out end up impacting the very people that they're supposed to be helping. So it's one of those dichotomies of, when people say there ought to be a law or something, be careful what you wish for, right?
Yeah, well said. And I am inclined to agree that I don't think that these branches of government are inherently established to seek to destroy. But I do feel like all things that human beings have the ability to change and alter over time, I think they get perverted in the sense that the initial ideals are no longer at play, and they use the power that they now have in order to alter whoever is the whatever the agenda or whatever the meta agenda of the time is. And right now, like the SEC, I do think it's good to protect, quote, investors that maybe aren't as skilled in their own market research, and to prevent people from being scammed and those things. I agree with you there, and I agree that that's a good ideal. But the issue is the requirements to become an accredited investor, to invest in ICOs or things that they deem registered securities. The average person, the average American, it does not qualify. Less than the average American does not qualify. And so it's basically a system that allows people who have already amassed more wealth than most of America to continue to propagate their wealth. And so they're basically removing the ability for the small person or the person who wants to change their financial situation. They're removing that ability from them. And how is it that they're protecting investors when they know if they tweet about it, the moment that they're coming after somebody, it's going to hurt the investors? That 100% dump or 50% dump, whatever it was that happened on PLS and the rest of the ecosystem, what investor in PulseChain felt protected? Now, that isn't necessarily the SEC's fault, right? They didn't go in and dump. I mean, maybe they did, I don't know. But point is that they know when they come in, it's going to cause market uncertainty and fear. And then what do they get? What do they stand to gain? Okay, they collect a fee, a fine. Awesome. Now, if you're protecting your investors, quote, you just took money away that they could have been given back. And not just in the case of Hex and PulseChain, all of it. They're a business at this point. They're trying to make money. And so I think with that seeming to be what their motive is, I don't see how, in most cases, especially in crypto, they're good for people.
I think one of the biggest challenges is we don't also have good tools to self-police. We know in crypto, and I'm sure all the builders here are constantly reminding anyone in their chat groups, in Telegram and Discord, even in Twitter comments, right? Beware the scammers. People are out there ready to steal your money left, right, and center. And this is where I guess, the challenge comes in. With crypto, you have full control and custody of your assets if they are in your own wallet, not on an exchange. And when you do that, that means you are the only person standing between yourself and potential ruin. And we have no way, as this group here of reputable builders trying to bring real DeFi to PulseChain, right? We don't have the tools to be able to root out the scammy BS that's rugging left, right, and center. And we've already seen a parade of rug pulls and scammy projects launching on PulseChain in the past 3 months. So it's just one of the challenges of the industry is, we don't have the right tools to necessarily clean it up. And it's kind of built into our DNA that this stuff is going to happen because there will always be someone preying on people to make mistakes, not paying attention, etc. Sadly, and that's, I think, the gap. If the industry could fill that, and if the industry could find a way to protect people in that manner, that might be a differentiator versus coming after, projects like the way we're seeing.
So, to the extent of your point, when the SEC news first happened, my first questions out of my mind was like, what gave the SEC such confidence to go after all the big names? Because like to be honest, they got as much unlimited resources as the SEC, if not more. So, what makes them have such confidence to go after all the big names, and at the same time, are they expecting to win all of them, or what's the real purpose of this move from SEC? So what's your point of that?
I think their approach is like a shotgun approach, right? I mean, they have so many lawsuits they've been filing, they're just going after anything and everything, right?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Thanks for having me on. One question that I do have, and I mean, feel free to, if you don't want to answer it, don't have to, but for the people that have done sacrifices, like, years ago, and like, how are you guys feeling about like that premise of like fundraising being targeted? Like, are you allocating some amount of the sacrifice funds to pay a fine or for legal defense, or what are the sacrifice recipients, like, what's your plan, or how are you feeling about all this?
So first of all, what's up, Dip Catcher? Good to see you, bro.
How's it going?
Second of all, we were a team that we can speak to that, and honestly, we're feeling very okay about it. We've had legal opinions from the very beginning. We have been working with a very strong legal team that actually specializes in SEC regulation and cryptocurrency blockchain law. They're out of Washington, D.C. They actually have arms and branches into international teams, which is how we got listed on the iOS store, by the way. That was the whole process. And they actually have people who have been hands, and have worked on the SEC in some way, shape, or form. And so we feel very good about our position. And also, what's interesting is what happens with Richard and PulseChain. It's going to establish precedent for the model. So really, we don't know how. We feel comfortable in our position now, but we won't really know how to respond in full until we see how it fleshes out with Richard, because this will set precedent one way or another.
So like, I guess what's like best case scenario and what's worst case scenario from your perspective?
Best case scenario is, well, nothing happens. Or best case scenario would be that Richard and PulseChain, they win against the SEC, which would thereby deem the sacrifice model okay. So that would be best case scenario. Well, I mean, every little sacrifice had its own nuance, but largely we could basically colloquially agree that like it would deem it okay. Worst case scenario, I guess, is the SEC comes in and every single builder who did such a thing, or even it may even extend beyond the people who did sacrifices, could be the worst case scenario, and there would be some kind of government involvement trying to shut everybody down. I guess that would be the worst case scenario. Because much of it, like, you can't stop Hex, you can't stop our product either. Sure, you can try to maybe suppress the front end a little bit, but like, you can't stop our product. It's on chain. So that's a big problem that the SEC has in general.
What about like legal fines? Like, I guess what I'm always wondering is, do these projects still have enough money for that type of situation?
Well, here's also what has to be considered. The SEC is a business, and it costs them money in lawyers and employees, taxpayer dollars to go after people. They're not, I'm not saying they're not going to, but they're less likely to pursue things that they think they can't make a profitable investment on. So they're going to do all sorts of analysis. They're going to demand money, or they're going to demand, transparency. And it's speculation, but I think it has merit to it. They're not going to make the investment in time, resources, and economic energy if they don't think they're making money on the other end. So if a project doesn't have money, they might be safer, possibly.
That's a very good point. So actually, it kind of answered my questions. Because like, what's the real purpose of SEC going after all the big names? Because they want to make profit as well, right? They don't want to do that for nothing. So my question is, do they really have the confidence to win all the cases, or like all the majority of the cases, or make them pay the fines? Or it's just my conspiracy theory, but is that the last FUD of crypto from the SEC before the actual pump, before the bull market? So what's your thought on that?
Well, this is definitely FUD. And I think if we can come out of this, I think it could be celebration, bull, let's go. But there's also two parts, right? Because the entire industry doesn't necessarily care about Hex, PulseChain, Richard Hart, this whole ecosystem. A big part of the industry doesn't even know about it. And the world at large knows even less. So, even though this is like our entire world is being affected, people who are very, very close to this, to the rest of the world, it's like it's not even on their radar. So what I do hope to see is that the rest of the crypto space gets behind this movement, because if the SEC does win, and again, remember this, at least to my knowledge, and I think from what I've heard from everybody else, this is not a criminal prosecution. This is a regulatory prosecution. So, but point being is, it affects our entire industry if this gets deemed a security, if this gets deemed, the way that the sacrifice model was performed. This is basically an attack on financial freedom. And so I think if the SEC does win, I could see maybe some bearish sentiments. I don't see how it's bullish for crypto.
So it's more like a go big or go home situation for both parties. Is that right?
I could see that, yeah, because if the SEC loses this one, I mean, they just lost against Ripple. If they lose this one, it's kind of like, really, guys? What's going on there? So they must have felt that they had a pretty good, well, right or wrong. I mean, based on their write up, they had a lot of silly inaccuracies. So it makes you wonder if like they really even know what's going on. But they obviously felt confident enough to publicly stand by this decision. So if they fall on their face again, it's going to be pretty funny. I don't know how they're going to, because how many times did they get to accuse a cryptocurrency ecosystem and be wrong? Like, at what point does the tide turn and people start saying SEC, not everybody's an American citizen, but hey, me as an American citizen, when do you stop wasting my money on trying to destroy people that aren't doing bad things? When do we stand up against that? And so I think if they lose this, it's going to be very positive for an anti-SEC, or not even anti-SEC, a reformative SEC movement.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Just kind of like a question to the group. My estimations is it will probably be dragged out for another year or 1.5 years until this is being concluded or a decision is being made. But also at the same time, if you're in the US, we have 3 running mates that are all pro crypto. In addition to that, there was just like a post that Gary Gensler wants to now, take a look at AI before he brings in crypto regulations. So this could potentially just mean that, for the next year or year and a half, there will be no decisions and, actually made, or maybe even after that. And then just like comparing that and contrasting that with the XRP case, XRP, when they received the news, they dumped by 60%. And then in the previous bull market, pumped by 550%. So it's kind of like interesting to see, one, there will be a lot of uncertainty still and probably no decisions, and also political changes. And then just looking at the price, seems like the price is actually, if for those people that are interested, seems like that had obviously some impact, but price still increased. So that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the PulseChain price right now, it's recovering surprisingly well. It's like, we haven't seen it break a ceiling yet, but it seems to be very quickly working its way back up to that 301. So already, even though we hit that major dump, it kind of shows me that the community is still strong and bullish.
Yeah. Yeah, and then also maybe a question to all builders in the room is like, did anyone decide to give up, to basically say, screw this, I'm not building anymore, or question it in any sort of form? I mean, like on our side, not at all. Every builder I've talked to, they're like, no, the community's here, and now it actually gives us even more strength to build this, because now we're just like, PulseChain is fully decentralized. We're builders on it. We have a community on it, and we're building for them. So just kind of like, want to open this up for any builders that potentially were uncertain, or if you guys heard anything about that.
So Pulse Domains, this is actually a really great transition, and I'm going to pass the mic. Normally, when we hold these builder spaces, we'll go around and we'll do project updates and we'll give a synopsis of our project. But what I really want to do with this builder space is, instead of focusing on like, hey, here are the technical updates and here's the progress that we've made, instead of focusing on that, what I'd really like the builders to go around the room and do, and as new builders join, I'm going to also pass the mic to them, is why don't we share our sentiments, our overall mindset as the different teams that have various products on or coming to PulseChain. And anybody also out there in the audience, I see a lot of requests. I'm going to get to everybody who has their request. We're focusing on the builders first, and then we'll pull everybody up. Any and all discussion will be permitted. So if you have a request, please go ahead and keep it up. And I'm going to start because the first person on my screen is Dip Catcher. So let us know how you're feeling as a team with what you already have built, with what you have coming. Where's your overall feeling and sentiment?
I mean, overall, I feel pretty almost invigorated by all this. It's been it's almost like it's been a long time coming. But I truly believe that we're all on the right on this. And so I'm feeling pretty invigorated. And also, I mean, just the sheer attention that's being brought to our ecosystem, I think, is a big opportunity. And I think what I'm pretty, happy about is that like, especially with what we're getting ready to launch now, Pool Party, which is kind of the next evolution of the Hex stake pooling system that we've, implemented already with the pools that already exist. But then with this upcoming one, which is like a big improvement across the board, it's like, what perfect timing for, people to, really show that they're still with Hex and they're ready for this next wave. And so I think that with like these stake pools, it's like a big opportunity for onboarding efforts in Hex. And what better time to onboard? It's like a lot of the onboarding obviously took place at all-time highs. I mean, that's what makes the price go up, is people onboarding. But now there's a big opportunity for that to happen 2 years into a brutal bear market where like every next week something worse happens that kind of layers on the FUD, decreases sentiment. And so I'm really excited about getting that out. It's been on a private test net that I've been building on and improving and just working on for a while, and it's just about ready for the public test net. And so as that rolls out, we'll keep everyone updated. But big moment ahead of us, and I think this is all kind of perfect timing with all this.
Amazing. Glad to hear it. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for all you build. You've been a cornerstone in this community for a very long time. OG Mike, you're next on my list. How are you feeling as a builder coming to PulseChain about everything that's going on in the world? Tell us how you're feeling.
So my honest feeling at first, like Deepka just said, I think it's really a relief because from my perspective, it's sort of like a rock bottom for the whole ecosystem right now. Of course, besides losing the case, but it was like a year or two in a row. So we're not gonna worry about that right now. So my point was, right now it's sort of like seeing the real picture, seeing the big picture of how the ecosystem should push forward. Because right now we are seeing Uniswap banning hacks, Twitter not allowed us to speak about hacks being banned, and it's like a really violation of the constitution. So especially for freedom of speech. And for people that don't know what my project was, it's actually PulseSpeak, and we are looking to build the first decentralized social platform on PulseChain. And I think this is the real time, just the real moment for us to show support on how do we look at this kind of rights, because before we sort of take it for granted, right? And right now, when it's really showing on our face that it's actually not our rights anymore, and how do we fight for it? How do we push forward as an ecosystem that we could preserve a basic human right, preserve our freedom in PulseChain? So of course, it's not going to be an easy task. It's definitely a little bit far-fetched at the moment, but I feel like if we could stand together and fight for it, we got a chance.
Well said. Standing together, again, not only as the PulseChain community, but also the crypto space is imperative when a government tries to come in, overreach, and suppress our financial freedoms. Pulse domains, you're all about the ENS. How are you feeling about your confidence in PulseChain?
Good question. So actually, on Monday when I heard the news, I was just really indifferent, especially knowing the history of Richard and Hex and then PulseChain and so on. Obviously, I saw the price dumping, which I wasn't really worried about that. It was like, for me, it's like, hey, this is the ultimate stress test. This is literally like the pinnacle of testing the community and testing the builders. And for us, there was not really a decision of backing up. I mean, like, for us, it was like, we go all in. I mean, we have a finished product. We're just waiting for launch. We're also building a site, Pulse coin list that is also just for the community. And we're like, no, we're all in. And I think the biggest learning through this is like, okay, so now we need to build systems that are a little bit more resilient. The Alex from Hedron, his Uniswap UI is open sourced, and it's on GitHub. It's like, okay, we might host it on our website as well, just to have an additional point for individuals to buy Hex. On multiple front ends, and just to support other builders with that. And I think this is the ultimate stress test for this community. But on our side, nothing really has changed. I've met many people in the community. I know that 99% of you guys are real, not bots. We have a long vision, and for us, there was no doubt on giving up or changing course. So yeah, so we're 100% in. We're balls deep. Let's put it this way: we're balls deep, and we're going to pull. We're going to pull through.
I was hoping when you said that you weren't going to say you're going to pull out.
Oh, no way! No way!
You're balls
No
deep
way!
and staying in.
Yeah, we're so no, we're so in. There's no way for us to. I mean, it's obviously, tainting the entire community, and it's a period of drama and a period of uncertainty. But it's also a responsibility for many builders to provide certainty. We'll continue building our products, and would love to contribute with that and stay here and build and then help. So yeah.
Man, love to hear it. And I saw Eric actually joined us, but he jumped down. I was going to ask him to speak next, but all good. Invite him back. So, okay, Pulse Punks, tell us how you feel about PulseChain and how your team is feeling as the first NFT project to mint out on PulseChain.
Hey, KG. Yeah, forgive me if I'm quick on my end. My daughter, I got my eyes on my daughter, but for one, I think Richard Hart's probably, super upset because we all know that he has not been a fan of drama or the limelight, or people having opinions about what's going on over here on Hex and beyond. So, but all jokes aside, I'm feeling really great about what's happening, because exactly what I expected to happen is what's happening within the community. We're kind of reaching a point where people were trying to put their project's best foot forward, more competition from project to project. And it was so cool to see how fast everyone just pivoted and, really started championing each other's, what's being built here. And something that I've really appreciated listening in on the spaces you've been sharing was, that this is not an attack on Hex, right? That this is really a fight for financial freedom, monetary freedom, self-sovereignty. Couldn't agree more. The U.S. government has a history of trying to do a good thing and making things worse. And yeah, the SEC has been, creating a habit of hurting the little guy. And if anything, they're getting their cut after the fact, more so than, they've been more like the mafia than Robin Hood, I guess is a way to say it. But yeah, I think one of the quality, indicators or key indicators, of an L1 is versatility, bounce back ability. And, we went from, let's say, the NFT ecosystem on PulseChain, we went from non-existent to a network that's been able to do things even better than I've seen communities on Ethereum do, right? I mean, just recently, there were a couple of project rugs, on NFTs, and we've watched the community rally, pull together, devs, show up and get their hands dirty and just help the community. And so it's been really cool to see how everyone's banding together. I think it's pretty obvious that PulseChain's bigger than Richard. He knows that. He's always wanted that. And you learn a lot about a chain, I guess you could say, when the chips fall. And yeah, I think PulseChain is, in my opinion, showing way more bullish sentiment, even more so than a week ago and 2 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago. I think opportunities like this reveal, it takes everyone's mask off, right? Like, so there are people who, are part of the Hex and PulseChain community that maybe were still just out of convenience, or they haven't converted over. They're still using Uniswap or whatever. And look what just happened in the last couple of days. I think there was a great case built for conversion, to a native, wallet through internet money here on PulseChain. So as situations like this show up, it's really going to, create more opportunities for builders to be highlighted and shown off for what we have here and how it puts our community first. And yeah, we feel great about it. We've been live and thriving since, basically the moment that PulseChain went live, including mid phase. I mean, we're approaching now 15 billion PLS worth of revenue. Yeah, I would think in the last couple of days that people would just be panicking and you'd see floors dropping out. And that's not what we've seen at all. I mean, we've had maybe 60, 70 purchases in the last 48, 72 hours. We see royalties continuing to grow. We're approaching 100 million PLS in sales in the last 72 hours. So yeah, the floor is staying strong, and that seems to be kind of across the board within the NFT community. So I'm not seeing anything worth panicking about. If anything, I'm just really confident in seeing how quick we bounced back. You had some panic sellers, but I think every community is going to have that. But I think it's become pretty obvious, that this is a very, very strong community, and the builders are the ones that are really propping our whole. Yeah, we're all in, man.
Hey, glad to hear it. You are taking strides in the NFT space on PulseChain. And people tend to forget that to create a successful blockchain, you need to have a diverse ecosystem. So thank you for what you do. And again, reminder out there to everybody that's listening, I see a lot of requests. We're going to get to everybody. Please stay requested. We're just going through, sharing some positive, bullish sentiments from the builders. And if you can, please share the space out. In the bottom right corner of your screen there, you'll see a little comment bubble. Hit that, drop a comment, tag your favorite builder, tell them to get in here. Let's talk about it. Hex Live, what's up, man? How's Mintra? How you doing? How you feeling?
Doing great, man. It's a good day to be in crypto. It's always exciting in crypto. So that's cool for me. Yeah, when I joined Mintra, I told Gerardo I'm not giving up till we have, an NFT marketplace on mainnet. And, we're going to do that. Right now we're building all kinds of things. I'm writing like distributed locks and cron jobs today, and this stable coin kind of averager to get a nice price. So we're deep in it. And when I joined, I'm like, I'm going to build a sick dev team. And, with Gerardo's blessing, we were able to do that. So we're going to keep, kicking butt on all the dev side. But, I'm a dev. I've been doing this forever. So it's never easy either. Like, say, minus all this FUD, just like software and development, it's tough, man. It's tricky. It's complicated. There's lots of moving parts. Scope creep is coming in, at all angles. Like, I'm just fighting scope creep every day with my big lightsaber, So, it's not easy even on a good day. When I woke up to like 50% of my PulseChain assets going down, it's not happy. It hurts. It hurts even me, and I'm fairly stable headed. I bought more. I bought more Hex, bought more Pulse. Threw a little into Icosa and Hedron. So like I've been buying. I was on vacation for a week, so I didn't get my DCA in. So I had like an extra little chunk to buy. And like people are going to feel the pain. Like it's easier for people that have been in this space for a while to like, just say, oh yeah, it just brushes right off. But it doesn't. And the new guys are going to feel it even more. I mean, I've been through some like 80% dips and 60% dips all the time. And I have a large portion of my net worth in PulseChain too. So, it definitely hurts. But then I'm looking at the SEC filing. And as I was reading, I didn't read all of it, but I was just skimming through it. I'm like, I don't think Richard's going to settle. I don't think Richard's going to like just pay people money. That's my guess. Maybe I'm wrong. And at the top, it says jury trial demanded. I don't know what that means, but that's kind of cool. I would love to see this go to jury and I could see Richard in all his glory.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking, man. And, it is painful. I do like after, say 12 hours, I felt like better. I'm like, oh, shoot. Like you want to be the people hated on. Like I want some haters. Like if anyone wants to hate on me, just set it up on my Twitter. I'd love to have some haters. That's like a sign you're doing something right. And I'm also Sicilian, so I like that kind of stuff. Yeah, and this shit is definitely not going to be easy at all. I do feel it. I mean, if this isn't the bottom, damn. I mean, shoot. I feel this is the bottom. And with all the builders here, I think that's awesome. Like I love building software, in the last couple years, learning crypto, learning ethers and learning getting better at TypeScript. Like I did JavaScript, but TypeScript is new to me, like 3 years, Nest.js and I've done Mongo before, but now we're like deep in the Mongo and I wrote like Solidity contracts and had the time to like get pretty good at that. And data pipelines, I did that in the past, but I applied it to blockchain. So like this stuff's exciting to me. And it's hard. Like I could feel for the builders. You got everyone clamoring and like, oh, when is it going to be done? I mean, I have years of like abuse as being like a software developer, so I'm kind of used to that. Your customer or your boss are always asking, when is it going to be done? And you're racing along. So I do feel for the builders, but it's cool to see how much is getting out there. Like what's out there now is pretty awesome. And I know there's a bunch of projects, Mintra included, that's not on mainnet yet. And all that's going to hit, my guess in the next, sometime, it's all going to hit pretty soon. And we're going to have even a better ecosystem and even more and more. I don't know what the other type of groups that are out there. I'm kind of secluded. I'm a builder. I'm not on Twitter. I'll go on a little bit and battle it out if I get excited, but like hardly ever doing that. I don't follow a lot of Twitter. I know from like these spaces, I'm learning from you guys like what's happening, but I'm deep in the tech, like stuff like KG knows and Dipcatcher and all these pulse domain guys. They know like a lot of the ecosystem, and I'm in like ERC 721, 1155, data, blockchains, nodes. That's where I'm in. So yeah, I love hearing this other perspective of more high level of what's going on. And yeah, Mintra's not going anywhere. I mean, we have some runway, so. And if everything goes to zero, at the very least, I'm going to get a marketplace out on mainnet for everybody. So if PulseChain went to zero, you'll have a marketplace at least. So we're going to have one no matter what. And, we have other stuff in mind too. And, we have a lot of code to kind of scrape data from the blockchain so we can kind of do whatever we want in terms of like, I saw a lot of this is like enabling the user to see the blockchain. Like a lot of times people are like, oh, the blockchain, it's open source or whatever. Everyone could see it. It's a public ledger, but not really. The only people that can really see it are, the builders and people trying to go on Etherscan and seeing stuff clicking around all day. So that's kind of like one core philosophy of mine. I want to give the blockchain data like easily accessible to everyone and try to have everyone be on more of a level playing field as much as possible. But yeah, those are some of the things. I'm super excited, man, and I'm not giving up. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Man, thanks for all you do, and you did make a distinction. With every team, there is a level of it that is the galaxy brain devs like yourself, like Dipcatcher, who do a lot of unseen stuff. Now, Dipcatcher is a very special character because he kind of plays both roles, where he is the galaxy brain dev, but he also is out there as the public face. And so, but I Hex Live, and not saying that you did, but I hope you don't feel any less important or appreciated, because without you guys who are actually developing these things would not exist. So I hope everybody appreciates and extends appreciation to the actual developers. And with that, I'm going to pass the mic to Triplet Dad. And again, if you're watching, you're listening, keep your requests up. Once we get through everybody, we're going to circle out to the audience. So Triplet Dad, TD, father of 3, how you feeling, bro?
Pretty good, buddy, and thanks for having this space. You're awesome. You do these very well, get the community together, and we love that. My sentiment is this: we've seen in the past couple days executed fairly well. That if one path gets blocked, another reveals itself. If MetaMask is going to disable hex in their trading platforms, people start looking for other wallets. If Uniswap takes hex out, people will look for other ways to trade. And I can't wait for somebody in our community to put a DEX on ETH like Fux or 9inch. When those guys go on ETH, I think that could be the de facto standard for this community. It's going to bring a lot of adoption. I believe that with all my heart. In the same way with the SEC thing, you could see competing agencies in something like this. If you start to make the United States a regulatory mess for crypto communities to exist, those communities will just headquarter in a different country. So myself, Dipcatcher, LV, there's a lot of people, UKG, who had sacrifices that are in the United States. There's a lot of projects that had sacrifices that don't give a shit about what the SEC said because they are not headquartered here, right? And that will become the standard. So when a path closes, another one opens, and people like 9inch or Tetra or any of those other guys that are opening projects around the world, those guys don't really care what the SEC says except for in the broader scope of the market, right? And it takes just an Aussie on your team or something like that, and all of a sudden you're playing by a different set of rules. And then you're going to have, if you have a company that's headquartered in the United States, creating tax revenue in a different jurisdiction of the federal government, right? Now we're talking about, we're going to lose tax dollars, tax revenue. That might be a thing, right? And then you could have two different agencies competing for, hey, we want to take this guy to, we don't really want you to take him to jail because over the course of freaking 10 years, he's going to generate 2 million freaking revenue, blah, 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 blah. That part is going to be interesting to see how it plays out in the future. But as for our projects, we are doing very well. We have one on a private test net, one that's getting ready to go on a private test net, and another project that is still being worked on right now. But we appreciate you, KG. Thank you for everything you do, bud. I'm going to drop down so somebody else can take my spot.
Thank you, TD. Thank you to you and your team for all the amazing things you do. And the last builder we have, no, sorry, we have two more. So we're going to go to Long Vacation. House Power City. How's LV? How's he feeling? What's going on?
Like we said before, this is just another Tuesday in crypto, and overnight, nothing has changed the value proposition of PulseChain. The value proposition of PulseChain was all in the community. The community that is built around the expectation of it launching, the community that is grouping around all the projects that are launching it, that want to use it, that want to see its adoption, that are out there telling the world about it, right? That's the value, and there's really nothing that's changed other than really kind of recent news driving this community to come together even more closely and tighter than it was before. So, we're wrapping up our audits on 3 projects: the core amplifier, which is an automated front end to liquid loans, and Earn Protocol, and Earn Protocol itself, which is a liquidity fork allowing you to mint stable coins based on PulseX tokens value. So we have things that are wrapping up and getting ready to launch, hopefully relatively soon. We are waiting for the Fetch Oracle project from the Liquid Loans team to come to the market later on this month, hopefully, or whenever that's ready, so we can utilize that. And a lot of people forget that PulseChain is literally brand new, right? 3 months old. So a lot of these infrastructure services that are very common on Ethereum aren't quite there on PulseChain yet. But the teams that you see here are working hard to build these things, or they're working hard to build partnerships to bring these services onto chain. So, there's a lot going on. And the beauty of it is it's got nothing to do with Richard Hart, right? He might have managed the team to create the chain, but he's not running any more validators, right? The community is running the validators. The building all the tools, bringing in the other services, expanding the community, reaching out to everybody. That has been everybody you see here. Everybody in this community has been doing that work. It is not one person. We are not waiting for one person to do it all for us. And I think that is one big differentiator. So we're excited to keep marching along with our plan. We're going to bring our products to market soon, and we're going to continue building the rest of our, the things that we've been talking about: Pixel Park, NFT Marketplace, Accelerator, Yield Compounder, etc. So a lot, coming, and a lot of work to do. But the key is we're still in the early days, and I don't think this whole SEC thing is going to go away in a heartbeat. But my reaction is like, yeah, and so PulseChain will continue to run. We'll continue to build. The builders here will continue to deploy their products, and we will continue to get stuff done. So it's just another Tuesday.
I love it. I love it. And you guys are also doing a lot of amazing work, not just in building the technology, but building bridges, both metaphorically and physically. And
yeah. I mean, there's a service, we've been working with Change now, right? So there's an alternate bridge route onto chain. Now payments is where you can bill people in Hex or Pulse or other crypto, right? So now they accept, tokens in this environment. And now their Now Node service is providing node and endpoint services for PulseChain, right? So we're trying to bring all these people in, and Gardarian. Gardarian is a fiat on-ramp, right, that will now support direct-to-pulse deposits in areas that they support. So these are great examples of trying to bring services in. And we're still talking to other bridge providers and other services and everything to build interest, to build awareness about PulseChain. And like I said, I know we're not the only ones out there, right? We're knocking on doors. We're trying to build those relationships. We're trying to bring reputable services to the chain, right? So that we can start building that infrastructure, and all of us together to make that happen, right?
Absolutely agree. Good work to you and the Power City team for all you do, man. Truly. And the last builder we have up here, and after we go to her, we will open the floor up to whoever has questions, comments, concerns. We'll continue to discuss whatever you guys want to, guys and gals want to. Now, I want to, before you speak there, Black Hexagon, I want to say that a lot of times when we think about the builders, we think about the people who are building products, whether they are the developers themselves or the front people, the business people, whatever people they are, revolving around any given project. But what Black Hexagon is a part of, I'm going to advocate, she's a builder herself. She's a part of a small team running a PulseChain tour that's going all across the US, teaching people not only about PulseChain, but about crypto, self-custody, and starting from basic education to experienced education. And I think that merits the badge of builder. So, Black Hexagon, how you feeling about PulseChain? What's going on?
I appreciate that very kind introduction, KG. And I also appreciate being invited up to the stage because, like you said, I'm not a builder in the traditional sense, but I do consider myself a builder of community. And I knew that there was something extremely special about this community since I got in, right? Especially when I did the Postmasters golf tournament, when a lot of these projects that are here in this space came out to show their commitment to a chain before it had even launched. That's when I knew that they can't shake us out. This SEC stuff, none of it. These crypto, fake influencers, whatever you want to call them, they can't shake us out. So so I'm just happy to be here. I'm positive. I think the tour is going wonderful. I'm even more excited about the Highest of Stakes premiere. I mean, the announcement that they just made that we have international distribution. This is what I expected from the ticket sales, from the attention that we're getting. I expected that this is the virality that a lot of us wanted, and now we're getting it. So now we just have to respond to it.
Well said. Well said on all fronts. And yeah, the highest of stakes is another really interesting ingredient to this soup that we're mixing around here. So I'm excited to see how opening weekend goes. I will be attending myself tomorrow, actually. And before I bring up the rest of the speakers, I will say myself, as the founder of the Internet Money Wallet, the MetaMask replacement that does not censor hex. Okay, we have a DEX aggregator, so you don't even have to just go on Uniswap. We have front ends to many of your favorite DEXs. We're out here by the PulseChain community, for the PulseChain community, and we're on Android, iOS, and Chrome. And you can access all your favorite EVM chains, but we're native to PulseChain, heavily centered around, heavily focused on PulseChain and freeing your PulseChain assets. We don't collect any data, 0 bits of data, all your price tracking for your PulseChain assets within the app. We are the PulseChain wallet. And we're on Android, iOS, and Chrome, support the hardware wallets on Chrome. And we as a team are still very bullish and very much building on PulseChain. We are still here every day working with our team. We're still making connections to the real world, other
You would kill two birds with one stone. One, he would definitely love to hear your thoughts on how to help, especially with legal issues. At the same time, too, he also knows a lot about the investment trust. He's part of it. So, and he's a very vocal person when it comes to the community, too. So everyone can vouch for that also. So you could definitely reach out to him. Tell him, Famous said to reach out to you. Another thing, Joseph, I really liked what you were saying. I'm coming up here and this might be a bit controversial, but I like it because that's how I roll. I really like how the community is really coming together, but I just want to remind everyone that this is also we're an international community. And what I mean by that is I'm pinpointing specifically those right now who might be confused or don't know how to help or in a situation that you might not feel affected. So as a community, I feel like our best tool right now in this moment of high eyeballs, where a lot of people are visiting us, I think it's very important to understand the point of attack, offense and defense. And right now we should go on the offense. And our counter attack should not necessarily be to be something that we're not, which might necessarily be like lawyers or people that understand or have been through this, or all of this is kind of like an echo chamber. When I find that our community, the one thing that has been working and my whole time in here and even in the past with what the other people who have been here longer say is that there's a common thread, and that's the education that we provide. So I think that it's more important. I think it's more important to maybe sidetrack certain stories or certain arguments and maybe focus on certain things that we can focus and show how we're different and why the products that we invest in are different. And that could be echoed because all chats are being recorded. A lot of us, especially the people who have the voice to go up and represent all of us, I think it's really important that we use our logic, our tools that have been given to us, the tools that we've created, and also our intelligence and experience on blockchain that we can overcome other people. And I just want to say that because I think sometimes a lot of people want to help, but they just don't know how because some of their rights don't have nothing to do with it. So I just want to remind everyone that we're international and that our strongest suit is the fact that we can educate anyone that wants to talk to us right now. And we're not begging, they're begging us because we're the hot topic. So remember that, like, this is strategy, and maybe I might have been wrong, I might be right, but I think we should focus on what we do best and not something that we don't really do that well. So, guys, I love the conversation, though. I really appreciate all the chats and everyone, spending their time, and good luck on the premieres, guys. Do well, get some rest, be attentive, and let's get it. Good job, guys. I'm really excited. So, thanks for letting me speak.
Well said, Famous. I actually can see where you're coming from on that, right? Because this is a very weird and not just weird situation because you have a US based branch of the government who is engaging in a worldwide market. You have United States citizens who feel like their rights are being infringed upon. And then you have citizens of other jurisdictions around the world that, well, they don't ascribe to the philosophies of the United States government. And maybe that's why they don't live here. But yet they're still subject to a United States government body, period. They're being affected by it. So I hear what you're saying in that, we should be careful in making this like a United States based movement, maybe. And that's why, if you're not saying that, don't let me put words in your mouth, but that's kind of what I took from it. And maybe making it more of this is a pro crypto movement. It doesn't matter about Hex or PulseChain or your country, really.
That's like like a really, really little portion of it, but I don't want to be an asshole because it's a really good space. But the bigger portion is more like because there definitely is people that love to listen to us. And unfortunately, they're just listening because they love to listen and they love to be part of the conversation, and they might want to help and they don't know what to do because for myself speaking, like, all these petitions, I don't know. I don't even think I can do anything if I wanted to help. Right. So what can I do the best? What can I do as a Hexican? What is the Hexican, ethos teach us? Well, the facts, what's real, maybe, I'm trying to do spaces where it's just crypto talk, like what's happening, let's not focus on what everyone else is trying to focus on, but just remember that we are in an international crypto community, and that we can help in other ways than just focusing on stuff that we might not. It's not my strong suit. So me coming up and arguing about the SEC would be a complete waste of time. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. But if I have the chance, maybe just tell someone or educate someone or tell someone about go here, go on this website. That might be more worth it than me just spending 10 minutes of, oh, this is my opinion, right? So I just want to remind people that, the game is still ticking, right? It's not stopped for us. So we could still do everything that you were able to do before this happened. So focus, and anyone who doesn't know what to do, don't worry. Just continue doing what we've always done, which is teach people, onboard people, continue doing your own grind and helping yourself, and continue learning and doing your own research, man, and staying as a Hexagon. And remember, the principles, which is, it's a community driven effort. So yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to be really positive in every sense.
No, it's not negative at all. Okay, I'm going to try again. I think I hear what you're saying there, in that, like, what can the average person actually do maybe to help the movement? And if that's what you're saying, I think that a good thing that everybody can do is continue to put out content and literature and tweets or posts, whatever, about, I'm not a victim. I'm not. And wherever you are in the world, that can only help, right? Because they're calling us victims. I don't feel like a victim. There isn't a single ounce of my body that feels like a victim. So I think everybody, regardless of where you are in the world, regardless if you have 1 follower, 100 million followers, regardless if you have a $1 bag or a $10 million bag, I think you can only stand to help by claiming and stating, wherever you claim or state it, that you're not a victim. If you truly feel that way. I'm not trying to, twist anybody's arm into saying that, but if you truly feel like you're not a victim, I think it could be very helpful to share that.
PG, here's some real that we're talking about.
Your mic is a little distorted, Benjamin. So you may have to drop down. But I know Pete has been waiting for a long time to speak, so I'd like to go ahead and give him the mic.
Oh, thank you so much. I was just I already said, but I think it wasn't listening. It was some problem with my mic. But what I wanted to say is, if you check the chart right now, it's absolutely replicating the COVID crash, even in the values. The COVID crash, Bitcoin crashed from 10,000 down to 3,700, and then at a V-shaped recovery back to 9,000, 10,000. And if you see if you see the values, the price on Pulse, we started the crash at the 3 zeros and a 10, just like 10,000 for Bitcoin. Then it crashed down to 4 zeros and a 3.7, replicated the depreciation of price from 10,000 to 6,700. It was exactly a replica. And then back now to 6,000. And then was like a little bit stuck at the resistance at 6,000. And once it crossed the resistance, then it went like a knife through butter across 7,000, 8, 9, and then back 10,000, roughly 7 days after the crash. And it's happening exactly with the same amplitude of movement, And I find it very strange how overlapping it is, because it crashed from 10 to 3.7, exactly like in the COVID crash of Bitcoin. And now from 3.7 is going up, making the same design, the same chart design. It is so fucking hot. How coincidence it is. Tell me what you think about it.
Yeah, Pete, I just wanted to speak on this because I've been in a few spaces with B Roots where he's actually shown the comparison to the Ethereum chart, and it's exactly at the 12th week as well, to almost the exact same percentage. So I definitely hear where you're coming from.
I would like also to add, just to finish, thank you for your comment, first of all. And I just want to finish saying that whoever created the crash on Bitcoin to flush away the weak hands, the paper hands, and take over Bitcoin as much as this institution or whoever could. It was during the COVID crash. It was the manipulation, how it happened to reduce the Bitcoin from the peoples into the hands of whales. It was an absolute success because they did it, and Bitcoin said goodbye to below 10,000 forever. And I'm sure that once we are back above the SEC price, we will say goodbye below 10 forever as well. The question is, and this is what makes me a little bit anxious, is it was too smart to perform this stunt, as smart as whoever performed it for Bitcoin 3 years ago. It makes me believe that big players are involved. I don't care, as long as the price will never go below SEC price ever again. I don't care. To be honest with you, I'm not a philosopher. I'm not a religious man. I don't give a shit, so to speak. But that's what I think. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing. Let's see. Next, we have, I think, Super Steak win, and then maybe Trinity Bitcoiner. Go ahead. Super Steak. Hello. Okay. Trini Bitcoiner. Go ahead.
Hello, are you hearing me?
I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. This meeting today is so awesome. I'm representing the Caribbean. I come from an island here, and this meeting today was just so good for the community in general. What Silly Grandma said, that really resonated with me. That sounds like a great suggestion. Also, a guy mentioned that in addition to signing a petition, we could also sign using our MetaMask wallets. That also is a magnificent idea, right? And this community, the whole world is looking on. This is truly an international community. And what the SEC has done has made the Caribbean very upset because we made a sacrifice. This was a political statement. We knew the risk, right? We know what Richard Hart is about. And I'd just like to say thank you for hosting this meeting today. I'd just like to say thank you for hosting this meeting today, okay? And I'd just like to shout out Brandon B. You're doing a great job. Continue your good job. And that's it for me.
Hey, thank you for the kind words. Truly. And next, I'm going to go to kind words, not about just the whole ecosystem, the positive sentiment. Next, we're going to go to 3 Lamach 0 and then Lucas Edgar.
Hey, what's up? It's El Macho. I was trying to be cute when I came up with that, my old gaming tag when I was young. 2 quick things. Number one, I did want to say that I decided to also buy a ticket to watch the RH movie this Saturday, so figure I want to lend some support. Maybe this is one way I can support just by being physically present in that environment. The other thing too is I understand and I agree that, yeah, we're right now thinking locally as US, and of course we got to keep the global focus, but kind of feel, bringing it back to the SEC, that like the SEC is like around to kind of limit / protect people's pursuit of property to those who can afford it, which I think it's such a shame, you know. But on the other side, you know, we see that people want their freedom, like freedom of expression, you know, freedom of, you know, of movement, freedom to go into this and that. But I don't think, aside from the crypto space, a lot of people don't understand the consequence and cost to these freedom of choices. So in some regards, I'm conflicted, right? I do feel there does need to be some classification to crypto to help set proper expectations for people, because everybody wants to get that. You know, I think the non-coiners, right? They're used to what, like a 5% annual return on their investment, or 15% mutual funds investment, and that's a high performing return. Um, you know, they don't understand the risk associated with getting, like, I don't know, like 100%, you know, 500%, 1,000%. And of course, the higher it goes, the higher risk. And people want the right and freedom to choose and go into this, but people don't want to pay the cost when stuff goes down to like negative, I don't know, 80% of their investment price. So um, I I don't know. I don't have an opinion whether or not Richard used his, let's say, sacrifice funds, even though there may be a wallet, to purchase the largest diamond. I have to believe that, being a member of Mensa and all the help stuff that he did, number one, he wouldn't be that dumb to do something like that, and number two, he's got more than enough money to not need to do something like that. So um, maybe, you know, I'm looking forward to see what the resolution is going to be for this. You know, what's going to be the outcome. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, right? Like, if we want to onboard people, they need to understand the risk. Um, should they have the freedom to get in and wreck themselves? Absolutely. But I think they need help in understanding that, hey, this is going to go to a zero. It's not always going to fly to 100%, 1,000% that people think, you know. So that's all I wanted to say. And also, yeah, and great points to everybody. So it's cool to hear and share ideas, and everyone is also respectful of points and counterpoints. So I really like this space. So thank you all.
Thank you for sharing your perspective. Lucas, what you got?
Yeah, so I want to get back to what Pete was saying and what others were saying about the price fluctuations. This is something really interesting, and you know, there's a saying, even bad publicity is publicity. In the beginning of this talk, of this space, someone mentioned that I think it was Corey who mentioned that a lot of other influencers who have not previously talked about PulseChain are now talking about PulseChain, are acknowledging PulseChain, and that is cool. And you know, Richard Hart is getting bad publicity, but there are 37 or even over 37,000 validators right now running PulseChain. So it's not a one-man show. We're just a blockchain like no other, where we have this huge persona in front, and it's great luck because it's good for marketing, but there's downside that if you take down this one man, then no one really knows what happens to the rest of the chain. Now we see what happens to the rest of the chain. Prices drop if our king gets attacked, but they drop to a certain degree. Maybe they'll go lower, but right now they're going up. And so obviously, what happened when this SEC thing came out Monday, a lot of people started going out, and you can look at it as killing off the lions, getting the slowest gazelles. So we saw a huge a bunch of millions went out of PulseChain. If you look at Dune XYZ, it has charts on the PulseChain bridge. You saw a lot of millions of dollars going out of PulseChain, but at the same time, a lot of new money was coming in. Different stable coins, a lot of hex, obviously, but mainly stable coins were coming in parallel. So yes, in the beginning there was a huge drop of money going out, but then very soon, as soon as the prices dropped, a lot of new money was coming in, and it was a whale type of money. It was tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollar worth of transactions coming in. So that is a good sign. I have this strong intuition that whales were waiting to get into PulseChain because the price of PulseChain was, 1 to 1, almost 1 to 1 with the initial sacrifice price. And now that it dropped, I am suspecting that enticed them to get into PulseChain. And so price and the flow of money outwards and inwards has been stable since the end of Monday. So I just wanted to share that yes, a lot of money went out, but a lot of new money has also come into PulseChain, and it's been stable for the past about 48 hours. So that's quite promising.
Well said, Lucas. Super Steak, what you got?
Oh, thank you, KG. Well, first of all, I just wanted to thank you for holding this space, taking time out of your day. I know you got a lot going on and doing this for the community. I wanted to thank everybody that was up here sharing their opinion. El Macho, Benjamin, Famous, everybody. But I just wanted to say something brief. I mean, I don't believe that we got here by accident. I think, Richard, he's been playing 4D chess this whole time. He knows what he's doing. And I think he knew, I believe, that all of this was coming and has planned for this eventuality so that, he can hopefully teach the SEC a lesson and finally get the glory that he so richly deserves. Thank you, KG. Appreciate it.
Thank you for sharing, sir. What's up, Scott?
Oh, hey, what's going on, man? Thanks for all you're doing, holding the space up. I just wanted to say, all the shit that's going down could, I mean, in my mind, when I woke up and saw that my balances were way down, I was like, what the fuck? And as soon as I found out it was the SEC, my first response was to buy the dip. I bought it a little too early, so I had to buy it again. But I don't know if you saw the charts. That shit's pumping right now. I think it's at 72. But see Freddie up here. I'll actually be at the highest of stakes in DC. Get to meet you, I guess. Be pretty cool.
I'm pumped, dude. I can't wait, bro. We got after parties both nights. It's gonna be a lot of fun, man.
Yeah. I heard, what was it, Robert, I think, is going to be there, and David James, DJ Pauly, maybe. I forget, a few people. But it'll be my first event. Looking forward to that. But
Are you coming Friday or Saturday?
So I'll be there Friday. I have to head down to your hood down in Virginia, my niece's 4th birthday. So I can't be there on Saturday, which will suck. But
that's awesome, brother. Can't wait to see you. Rags is going to be there. Access Alive is going to be there. DJ Pollywood, some Hexakin,
on
David James.
That's all Friday?
Yeah, Friday's going to be lit. I feel like I'm forgetting someone. Hexagon 720, David James. Oh, Scott V, a.k.a. 1T is going to be there, the guy who produced the PulseChain Anthem. We're going to have a lot of friggin' cool people there on Friday, man. A lot of really cool people.
Also, one of my buddies got 2 tickets, and he cannot go now, so I got to get him to send me the screenshot of the QR code, but I might have 2 extra tickets. If anybody needs
Find someone and bring them, dog. Find someone and bring them.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, fucking, but something that I was thinking about is, man, Richard Hart, there's no better person better equipped to take on the SEC and really have the spotlight if he chose to do so. I mean, I'm sure he's talking to his lawyers. He's much smarter than me, for damn sure. But I mean, this could turn into something mega fucking positive for the whole community and DeFi in itself. So, I mean, anybody that's scared, I feel sorry for. I think a lot of people already lost their positions. But fucking, I'm gonna keep loading up, and can't wait till Friday, man. That's all I got.
Thanks for sharing, man. Truly appreciate you jumping on. We're gonna go to Mark Powers OG. Mark Powers OG. All right. And I just don't want to shout out in the audience. I see our friend K for K Crypto out there. What's up, brother? Always putting in the good work. Good to see you out there. Go ahead, D Lee. Mike is yours.
Appreciate you, KG. Thank you for having me up. Black Hexagon, thank you for everything you do and co-hosting. I've been listening. Yeah. Am I on?
Hey,
Oh, sorry.
Marco,
I had some problems with my Twitter. Go again.
One moment. I'm gonna go to D Lee and then I'll come right back to you. Okay. Thanks, sir. Go ahead, D.
Was I heard before?
I heard you loud and clear. Yes, sir.
Oh, good deal. Appreciate it. Everything that I've heard, so many well-spoken words, great sentiment. This community just makes you proud. But over and over, the theme that keeps coming back is freedom, and this is just the latest attack. And I would agree with a lot of these people that I don't care when your line in the sand, when you placed it, but mine was a long time ago. So I've got like this major pile up over me. You might not see me. I'm the guy that's the lump in the ground. Been dragging my feet so long. Find whatever your passion is to help in this fight. Be professional. Be what you are, which is awesome, brilliant, trailer trash, and just get out there and keep at this. This is a fight worth having, and it is on an international scale, and it is going to bring the eyes and the attention, and it's an opportunity. And yeah, I think he's known about this and planned it all along, and he knows he's made this army for this fight. So we go out and we win it. It's in our DNA at Texas. I know we haven't stopped one bit building or changing how we do business. And now's the time, and I appreciate y'all for this. Have a good one. Oh, Nashville. Nashville needs some help on Saturday. Me and my wife Stacy will be at the show on Friday. There's still tickets available. We're going to be meeting at Rafferty's restaurant at about 4:00. Would love to see everyone that's around, and get busy, Nashville. Sell some tickets. This is the time. Appreciate it.
D Lee out there representing Texas. We appreciate you for that. So thanks for sharing your kind words there. Words in general. Oh, shout out. I see Ian joined the chat. Ian, feel free to request if you got anything you want to say. Marco, mic is yours. Mark Power. I'm sorry.
That's fine. My real name is Marco, actually.
Nice.
That's cool, man. Oh, I revealed my identity.
That's it. I'm coming for you.
Yeah, that's fine. I just want to give a shout out to you, KG. That's awesome, an awesome space, and it's great that people have a chance to share their thoughts. I'm from Turkey. I live in Turkey, Asia, checking in. So we talking about the global scale, right? And I think if you think in terms of life, in your own life, what was the greatest chance when you grew the most? It were the hard times, when you get out of your comfort zone, when you've been attacked maybe by people or institutions or systems, it doesn't matter. So I feel it's the best that could happen, because we had an arguing going on between Ethereum and hacks on PulseChain and all that bullshit, And now we came together. Now we back together. and we understand it's about freedom. It's not only about financial freedom. I give you an example. Over here in Turkey, you have to pay car tax, of course, like everywhere else. But the government decided, yeah, we take 2 times car tax this year. So we have some problems, some financial problems. We take 2 times car tax, and if you don't comply, fuck you, man. Then you don't have a license, and you can't drive around. We will sue you. That's what happens here. And the Western world was always a place in the past where you have some freedom. You can go out, you can go protest. You have some rights, you have constitutional rights, and they even take that away step by step. It's Corona, it's some financial bullshit, it's the climate, I don't know what else, all that stuff. So I'm in this community because over here are intelligent people. They aware of the situation in the world. Because if I go to other communities, then it's all about, yeah, we need a pump, man. Yeah, DJ, blah, 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 all that bullshit. And over here, there are people, they thinking about the situation. I also want to give a shout out to David Lee. I never heard you speaking before. It's nice to meet you. We know each other from the Compassion Cartel, a nice group, good vibes over there. Yeah, that was me. I introduced myself also. I'm active in the NFT.
I was going to say, appreciate you need to get putting back out some more content, Marco. You were really good and you got a heart for it.
Yeah. Now I found my way, man, in the NFT world. I never thought I would be a DJ, but yeah, I'm a DJ. I'm a DJ on PulseChain in the NFT world. That's totally fine, man. I found my community and I can share myself there. I can be hyperactive as fuck, jumping around in different groups and being the hype man. That's my thing at the moment. So I appreciate every one of you, every single one of you. Even if you have a different opinion, we can discuss that. We can argue about that, because that's what it's all about in the community. We discuss things and we open, and yeah, we stay intelligent and aware. Peace out, my friends. Thank you.
Man, well said. I wish somebody had the hand clapping emote that I hear go off all the time in these Twitter spaces. That would have been a good time for that. Where are you at, people? All right. Well, we have another. There it is. Thank you. Well said. All right, let's see. We have spiffytastic.crypto. What's up?
Hey, thanks for that. I wanted to say that, in my opinion, if Richard was offered a reasonable settlement from the SEC, that I believe that it would be in the best interest of the RH community for him to accept it, and that's with the caveat that the settlement is reasonable in like dollar amount, and that it's not where he's like admitting guilt or liability, or not accepting some terms where it's like he's going to stay out of crypto for some period of time. I believe that action would make it more likely that the DOJ would not pursue a criminal case, because I think, like as Black Hexagon tried to say, or did say, I think one of the worst things that we could have is a jury of 12 people who it's up to them. Because, like, I think that a regular jury of people, you're gonna be far more likely to find 12 people who are just have the mentality, oh, fuck those crypto bros, than 1 out of 12 who you can find who understands crypto or even understands DeFi. Or even understands. Similarly, I did already message silly grandma, or whatever her name was. I'm sorry. That I would be interested in in assisting, like if a counter suit is applied, basically, saying that I would be a plaintiff in that, but I do believe that that action is not probably in the best interest. That's kind of would be taken as a like us poking the bear.
Absolutely. And that's why, somebody, I think it was Benjamin, I can't remember his name, had brought up, what can we do on an individual basis? And we have just as much right as the people who, put in complaints to the SEC to speak our piece or to make our request as to what it is that we want. So we can go to the SEC and say that we want a judge, one judge who understands the space a little bit better to oversee this hearing. Or we would like this hearing to be held in Texas, right? Who's a little more crypto friendly. Like, we have the ability to speak our piece, just like the people who had complaints have their ability to say what it is that they want to say.
I hear that. That's what's so funny or ridiculous maybe about this whole thing is like they're calling this community victims, and yet they're steering the ship to try and protect us. Why not actually talk to the quote victims if you actually care about our perspective? It's very obvious that they don't, because it's very obvious that their motivations are not to protect, quote, the investor. I don't know exactly what they are. I'd be speculating beyond that, but it's obvious what their intentions are not. Freddie, oh, he dropped down. I saw he had his hand up. What's up, Chef? Did you have something as well?
Yeah, hey, can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear.
Hey, brother, how's it going, man? KG, always glad to have you come together, bringing the community together, man. That's the one thing I always love about you, brother. It's your spirit just kind of brings everybody together. That's just kind of warm, and that's one thing I do love about you guys over at Internet Money, including yourself. I just wanted to say, if anybody's in Tampa, I do have a few tickets that are left over for tomorrow. So if anybody is in the Florida area and has not yet bought any tickets, I have a few left that I can give out. Yeah, just appreciate you, man, for putting on this space. I think this is the time more than ever that we all need to band together and beat this thing.
Man, well said, Chef. And real quick, Freddie, before we go to you, and first of all, Chef, thank you for the kind words about myself, about Internet Money. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for what you're doing at B9. You and your team doing your best to make the community secure. Security is very, very, very important part of crypto. Before we go to Freddie, I just want to take a quick intermission to say, let's get some traffic. If you see that little chat bubble in the bottom right corner, drop if you feel like a victim. And if you think the SEC is protecting you, hit that purple or white chat bubble in the bottom right. Drop what you think about this situation. And please give myself a follow. Give Black Hexagon a follow. Freddie Quotes a follow. Chef a follow. Everybody who's up here on this space, give them a follow. These are leaders in the community who are taking on the scrutiny and putting themselves out there to have the world judging them. So give them a follow, support them. Go ahead, Freddie.
Hey, I appreciate the shout out there. I understand like everyone's going to have their own opinions, but to think that Richard would take a plea deal when he's in this for glory. If Richard took a plea, it would be the most cowardice. It would be admitting to guilt. It would be everything that he has fought against for the past couple of years. I don't see that happening. He's in this for glory. I think he's going to batten the hatches. He's going to knuckle up and he's going to go in there and he's going to throw some haymakers and he's going to out as much as he can. I think he's going to do his best to expose the SEC for the criminals that they are. the criminal Gestapo organization that the federal government calls themselves. Like, it's just, he wants to go in there and destroy these people every way possible. I really don't see any way that Richard cowers and gets down and gives a reach around to the SEC and takes a plea deal. That he's not in this for a plea deal. Richard is in this for glory. And I just don't understand the idea. People think that he's just going to cop out and take some plea deal. I don't see that happening. I could be wrong, but.
No?
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead. Whoever that was, I didn't see.
Sorry, it was me again. I wanted to say, I don't think, I agree with you. I don't think that it is likely that Richard will accept the plea, but I do think that it might be in the best interest of the community for him to do so if it was reasonable in dollar amount.
But why? We know we're not a security. XRP just beat their stuff. Now, yeah, that could come back and SEC could file different motions or whatever. Like, that's not done. But how does that benefit us? We know what we are here for. We know why we invested in Richard and why we continue to invest in the products that we have here. And it's because they're not securities. Why would we bow down and like, he's not facing jail time. Like, okay, the DOJ is not going to come in, and they haven't done that with anyone else, I don't think, yet. I don't know, man. I don't see that happening. It's hard to imagine that scenario.
I don't think the DOJ ever filed charges against any of the other founders that they've filed suits against. All those other suits were against the crypto communities. Or not the communities, but the crypto projects or whatever foundations you want, whatever they were. But I think that I forgot what I was going to say, but
how it would be better for the community, maybe.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think what I would say is, like, the community was already hurting. Like, you had people, a lot of influencers, which take what they typically say with a grain of salt, but you had a lot of influencers weeks ago that were saying, oh my God, the bottom is in. You should be buying everything you can right now. And if you took that advice back then, you're really hurt, even more so than if you were just a plain holder. And like, essentially, I'm saying, like, there's a lot of the community that is hurting right now. Like, I mean, from my perspective, and I would say that I know that I am not in the situation that most of you are. But like, a couple days ago, I was contacting a bankruptcy attorney to try and figure out what I might need to do if the market continued going the way it was. Because, like 6 months ago, I was like, okay, I have enough funds to get by for a few more years. Now it got down to the point where I have enough funds to get by for a few more months. And that's a problem for me because I'm disabled. I don't have a job. I can't have a full-time job. And it's just problems with my situation.
Yeah, I definitely hear you, Spiffy. I've met you in person. You are a great asset to this community. And I know that there are a lot of people out there that are hurting. Whether he takes the plea or he fights it, I don't think that this is anything that's going to end anytime soon. So like, we were saying before, we just all have to stay steady and keep doing what we can all do on an individual basis, whether that's education, whether that's, marketing, whether that's attending the premiere or whatever else it is. Just going to reset the room a little bit and give King Daniel an opportunity to speak. Before he does, I just want to give a shout out to all the people that have joined us in this space. I recognize a lot of names down there in the chat. I saw Lights Out, Bullish, Abid Hex, Scarlet Rose, so many of you guys that have just really been here in this community, contributing your skills and your abilities. And I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you. So King Daniel, I'm going to give you the mic and then we'll take whatever other requests we have coming up.
Hey, what's going on, Black Hessican? I'm KG and everyone here. How you all doing? Yeah, I'll be surprised if Richard Hart takes a plea D. Because to me, I think this is a David versus Goliath scenario, and we're going for the head. I'm sorry to hear that most of us in the community is hurting bad right now, but we have to understand it's not just Hex, it's just a whole crypto. We're in a bear market. So I feel bad. I'm hurting too, but obviously I'm accountable for my own action. I was giving out a contest of a million Pulse X to people within the community, just randomly. So I'm not really doing that bad. So what's your name, Spiffy? Send me a DM and let me see what I can do for you. It's not that I have too much, but I think it's a blessing if I can help anybody out. I don't see anything wrong with that. If I can eat, I think my brother and sister should be able to eat. So let's come back to the Richard Hart versus SEC. It is funny in the sense that this is just a civil action. There's nothing criminal. There's nothing that has to do with fraud. It's not a DOJ that is indicting him or doing anything right now. It's just, quote unquote, waiting for the judge to view their evidence and see if he had done anything right or he has done anything wrong. So the bottom of proof is still on the SEC. So we shouldn't kind of look at it that, okay, it's the end of the world. Actually, I think it's going to make us a bona fide community. It's going to make us, it's going to put us in the world map. So I don't see Richard Hart. I won't be happy on my own aspect if I see him take the plea deal, because now we are, we say it in the Army, if you walk past a substandard, you just created a standard. That means if you take anything substandard, that means you just created a standard for your own self. And I don't think that's what we stand for. We stand for the freedom to transact. We stand for the freedom of speech, of movement, of assembling, of transaction. We should be able to come together as citizens of the United States of America and do whatever we want to do. Even though it's apples or oranges that we are sending back and forth to each other, is our right. It does not make it a security. So we have to understand that. At this point, I think we're fighting for our right. In my own sense, I'm fighting for my kids' right. I'm fighting for my family. So it's beyond money right now. I'm sorry, guys. It's really beyond money. We have to look at what our Constitution is built upon. I did that already. So if I come back home, I should be able to fight. So I'm not fighting for Richard Hart. I'm fighting for each and everyone here. I'm fighting for my own self. I'm fighting for my kids' future. So thank you.
Can I say something again real quick there since he mentioned me?
Go ahead, Spiffy.
Yeah, so I wanted to say, like, really, I greatly appreciate an offer for assistance. I'm not quite there yet. And though, like, in the long run, I do believe that I will be completely fine. Most of my crypto assets are held in my self-directed Roth IRA, which is bankruptcy proof. So even if I do claim bankruptcy, then, like, that just wipes away my consumer debts, which is kind of substantial because I've been essentially retired for the last 3 years and just kind of living off of credit and other selling my hex. But well, I appreciate it. I'm not quite at the point where I'm asking for any kind of assistance. But thank you.
We're gonna go to Execute. He has his hand up.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing he was talking about. Some of the guys I talked to, I know like at least 6 people that were kind of living off their hex stakes, and the fact that it's gone down 86. I think everybody started buying back in around 86%, and it's just like the dip keeps dipping, And the longer this lawsuit goes, it's already down 99%. So technically, it's going to start another 99% from here down. And the longer this lawsuit goes, the more it bleeds, right? And now that there's technically 4 other coins that are going to start bleeding, it's it can get real nasty real quick in this ecosystem. And I don't think everybody in here has enough money to keep to prop up that type of system, especially if Richard and the rest of people in crypto can't reallocate funds properly because everybody's wallets are being watched.
Yeah, I definitely hear you. I actually want to pose a question to the panel, and then I'm going to go to Brandon. Do we think that the SEC filing is the only thing that is weighing on the price of Hex? Do we think that the premiere of the movie could essentially bring new eyes into the ecosystem, bringing in new funds? The fact that we now have international distribution to where we can get it to even more eyes. I am a strong believer that the fact that we have now gone international, the next step is streaming. And so I just encourage everyone to stay positive and to see, what this possibly could be doing to bring more attention to Hex as opposed to, just continuously bleeding the price. That's just my take as far as me feeling like I heard someone else say it earlier that RH is playing 4D chess, right? We don't know whether or not this is some attention that he wanted. We know that Richard likes eyes on him, right? And what more eyes can you get than the government coming after you, than all these people who refuse to talk about Hex now talking about Hex, talking about PulseChain, talking about our DEX and whether or not it is true DeFi. So I'm going to go to Brandon and then I'm going to try and get some more requests up. If you are not speaking, if you want to go ahead and drop, otherwise, if I do need to bring more people up, I will have to drop a couple people.
Hey guys, how's everyone going? I just want to start off by saying that we're only down roughly 21% from when the news of this whole SEC nonsense was announced. So it's not that bad in the grand scheme of things. I mean, for us to recover to where we were before the news, it's a 29% pump, guys. We've seen 29% pumps, all the time. It happens, once a month. So, I mean, to put things in perspective, the fact that the SEC hit us with all this, and all it takes is a 29% pump from where we're at to recover to where we're at before. I think that kind of speaks to the strength of this community. I think the fact that we're having this V-shaped recovery is very promising. Of course, nothing's guaranteed. We could always have short-term corrections, blah, 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 blah. But I also think it's perhaps important to keep in mind that, guys, this was always a long-term game to begin with. I mean, the vast majority of the gains in a bull market do not come until the very end. These markets have historically always been defined by parabolas. And what's one of the main feature set of a parabola? You get the most parabolic, the most amount of gains up until the very, very end. So this was a long game before. It's a long game still. Does this complicate shit short term? Yeah, it does. But long term, I think the side of freedom matters. And I also wanted to say, and this is kind of the reason why I put my hand up in the first place. I'm a Canadian, and back in the day, I worked with, I don't want to say work with, but I did a co-op with a, I don't want to dox myself, but a member of government. And I just want to say that government officials, while I know, the government is often very corrupt, very incompetent, blah, 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 blah. But if you contact your local governor, local senator, local congressman, if they get 2 or 3 phone calls of the same, in the same vein of people complaining about the same thing, that gets noticed. I've worked in these offices before. If 5 people call and say, "Hey, this recent SEC lawsuit is hurting me," that gets noticed. I mean, if I was an American, I would be calling my congressman, calling my senator, and saying, "Hey, the lack of regulatory clarity of the SEC is what's hurting me." Not, you don't even have to delve into Richard, all this stuff. if I was an American right now, I'd be calling my local congressman, calling my senator, and saying the SEC's lack of regulatory clarity is what's hurting me more so than anyone else. And I'm telling you, if some congressperson's office gets the same 5 calls in one day, they're gonna tell that congressperson's going to be told about that. If a handful of people show up, set a meeting, and very politely say that, hey, the SEC's lack of regulatory clarity is an issue for me. Next time they go to Congress, they're 100% going to bring that up as an issue. Guys, on the whole, on a macro level, government is incompetent and corrupt, sure, but on a local level, a couple voices can make a difference. I'm letting you know because I've been in these offices before, and I know that when a couple people show up and very politely explain that, hey, the lack of regulatory clarity is hurting me, that does get noticed. So, I want to applaud. I know Don Montoya was talking about sending a message, an email to the SEC, saying how, I sacrifice for freedom of speech, something like that. Like, guys, these things do get noticed. And so I just want to perhaps encourage you guys to start thinking about very, very politely contacting your local congressman, because if enough people do it, I'm telling you, because I've been in these spaces before, it does get noticed.
Thank you, Brandon. I think that was a very, very good idea. We've been talking about ideas of what we can do on an individual level, and that is definitely something that we can all do if we are here in the States. If you guys could raise your hands, I know we've had a couple new speakers to come up. I'm going to go to Freddie because he has his hand raised, and then I'm going to go to some of the other ones that recently joined the panel.
Thank you, Kay. Real quick, I just want to say, and this has been said multiple times in here over and over and over, it's funny how perfect the timing is on this. It's almost like Richard is working with someone within the SEC to make sure everything is happening as it needs to the week before. I mean, could you think of any other publicity that we could have gotten this week that would have brought more eyes to Richard in the community, or Hex, or any, like, it's just so hard to think that this isn't 4D chess. And like, even the extreme marketing where, people disagree with it, and I wasn't a fan of all of it, that, it was annoying. It got to a point where it's just like, oh my God, please just stop, bro. Please just stop. But how amazing would that be if this really was all intentional to bring eyes to it, and then to have it line up perfectly with it's almost like the Heist of Stakes knew, or Richard knew, when these would be coming down and when they could schedule this premiere for this to be happening. It's just, there's no such thing as a coincidence. Everything happens for a reason, and it's just hard to believe that his 5D chess brain didn't put some of this together with some of the timing. And I don't know. It's just crazy. I don't know. It's wild.
Yeah, Fred, that's definitely came across my mind. I'm no conspiracy theorist, but that has definitely came across my mind. I know I'm going to butcher your name, Alcimac. I don't know, but you have the mic.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Alcimac, but good try. So I just wanted to get up here real quick and give you a shout out, actually, Black Mexican, because I really like what you and the PulseChain tour team are doing, because it reminds me of like my team and I back then when we were in the insurance industry, and we were on a mission to open up new locations across the U.S. And we did something very similar to what you guys are doing. And when I first started seeing it, I was just like, man, this is freaking awesome, What better way to get the word out, about PulseChain and Hex and stuff like that. So I wanted to give you a shout out because I think it's amazing, many people probably don't even see like the work required or the value that's coming out of this, and I just want to throw a shout out to you and the team real quick for that. And in regards to the SEC, like we had a run in, we had our own troubles with the SEC back when I was in the insurance industry with some of the guys in the company. I was in a multi-level company, and many times they targeted some of the agents, and I never really got into the specifics of it, but the majority of the time it was just all BS. So like I'm not worried at all about like what's going on right now. And I also wanted to mention in regards to the movie, right? Everybody's excited about the movie. Um, one thing I keep thinking about is, and just in general, you know, like Hexkins already know about Hex, right? So, you know, it'd be really cool if you could drag somebody with you that didn't know anything, right, about it. And, you know, throw them a ticket. You know, I keep hearing a lot about, you know, there's extra tickets or extra tickets like this. You know, even if you find some random person in the street, bam, here's a free ticket, you know, just to get the word out. And I also wanted to do a shout out for KG for holding the space because, you know, I get a lot of value when these spaces are put together and you're actually listening to like, you know, good information and, you know, like, you know, have, you know, smart people putting in their 2 cents and stuff like that. And it's very different compared to many other spaces where, you know, it's just all BS or whatnot, right? Without being specific. So I did want to throw a shout out as well, right? But overall, you know, I'm not worried at all about what's going on. If anything, like I'm more than 10x my bag, right? With these opportunities, and me still being fairly new to crypto, I, obviously, like everybody else says, you know, don't put in what you're kind of forced to lose, right? And that's what I've been doing since the beginning. So these are just some things I wanted to mention, and you know, I want to thank everybody that's coming up here, you know, providing good information all the time, and keeping it 100. You guys know what I mean.
Absolutely. I appreciate your positivity and your acknowledgement. If anybody in the space doesn't know about the PulseChain Tour, please go to pulsechaintour.com. We still have at least 8 different cities that we're going to visit. It's something that I say all the time. When we did the Hex Tour, we had, you know, anywhere from 50 to 100 people coming out because people were so excited about the price of Hex, right? We were right in the middle of the bull run, prices going up. And now a lot of those family members are like, hey, you onboarded me at the top, where this is the time where you should be onboarding your friends and your family. Get them in where they have the highest probability of making generational wealth and becoming financially free. So I appreciate your acknowledgement. Thank you for coming up and saying that. And I just want to go ahead and pass the mic on to Chastown.
Hey, thank you so much, Black X King and KG for hosting. And please just stay what's going on there where I'm at. I'm trying to just get back on stuff and get ready for the premiere tomorrow.
You have a little background noise, which is okay, but if you maybe could just a little louder so that everyone can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So real quick, I'm gonna cut it real short. I did want to piggyback off what Brandon said. I'm not sure if you can pin it to the top, but this goes beyond just the speaking out to your local congressman or congresswoman. If you download the app, which is on iOS and Android, it's called 5 Stars, 5-star call, or 5 call star, vice versa. What that does, it's an app that will, at a push of a button, at a click of a button, you can instantaneously reach out to your congresswoman or congressman and instantaneously report or bring up a complaint in regards to what you feel or what you stand for. And it goes beyond just crypto. Remember, the elections are actually coming up, and it's a very useful tool and resource in regard to putting the right people in the right position of your local state, city, or county. And so utilizing that communication to put the right people or lodge your issue is, I'm telling you, it speaks volumes. And it's just a click of a button. It automatically downloads to your area in regards to your residency. So I just want to throw that out there. There was a couple other things, but it's just too loud here. But thank you, and you all keep up the good work.
Thank you, Chaz, for the resource. If you were to post that message, that link on your thread, on your personal Twitter thread, then we would be able to go ahead and pin that link into the nest. Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, just a quick one. I saw a link popping up today in our space about the change.org. Make a petition for Richard Hart. I don't want to piss anyone off. I just want to mention that in September 2021, change.org became 100% owned by the nonprofit change.org Foundation. And the transition was accomplished with funding from more than 50 investors, including LinkedIn CEO Reid Hoffman, Bill Gates, Richard Branson, Ray Dalio, Evan Williams, Jerry Yang, Sam Altman, and Arianna Huffington. That's all I wanted to say, okay? So it's probably not the best place to support Richard Hart. That's all. All right, have a good one. Bye-bye.
Appreciate that, Mark. That link was actually passed to me from a Hexagon in the community. He's trying to do similar to what Silly Grandma is trying to do. I think his point is to show the community the type of petition, the type of work, the amicus brief that we could do in order to take our grievances back to the SEC. I'm not real sure about the platform and how it works, but the sentiment is that, we have a voice as well, and we should be able to speak up. So whether it's what Brandon said, and we take this to our local congressmen, our local people, either whatever we do, important to know that we all have a voice in this community. Mako, did you want to speak?
Yeah, and maybe make an own website. That's better. That's always better. It's the same with an own wallet, what internet money is offering. So make an own website and sign everything there, because change.org will funnel all your data into Satan. Bye-bye. And now I'm over. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Mako?
Yes, hello?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so thanks for letting me chat. I was just curious, what's y'all's thoughts on hello?
I don't know if it was just me, but I lost sound there for a second and I didn't hear you. Maybe we can get some emojis if the rest of the room was able to hear you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I got muted again. I was just asking or curious what y'all's thoughts on if XRP was ruled as not a security, why would the SEC come after a, RH for the same scenario when they say all cryptos are securities, even though they don't fit the definition?
And I'm sure that there's other people that can speak on this. I do know that the XRP case is much different from ours. I mean, we're dealing with issues of, did he buy the Hex Diamond with sacrifice money and things like that. Me personally, I feel like when the SEC takes a big loss, then they look for another target. But if there's other people on the panel that want to speak to it, Brandon maybe, then feel free.
Yeah, I can just chime in real quick, guys. These are ultimately deeply, deeply political decisions, and it seems to me like they just thought that this would be an easy win. I mean, you look at Richard. What's the first thing you see when you Google him? Him in a Gucci tracksuit, on top of a Mercedes, right? He looks like an easy target, but the government's famous for being kind of incompetent. If you look into it, he's a deeply thoughtful individual. But I just want to also throw my 2 cents in regards that, guys, what isn't a security is ultimately a deeply, deeply political determination. When God gave us the 10 Commandments, he didn't also write on the back of the stone, also, this is what the definition of security. No, this is determined by politicians. It is a completely political decision, which is why, again, I encourage, especially you guys, Americans, to reach out to your local politicians. If enough of you guys do it in a very polite, coordinated manner, it 100%, I'm telling you from experience, does get noticed. So I encourage you Americans to start becoming politically active.
Yes, thank you for that, Brandon. Do we have anybody else that wants to come up to speaker? I know we're getting close to a point to where we're going to want to wrap up this space, but we want to definitely give more people the opportunity, if they want to come up and speak their piece. While we're doing that, if there are any other host space, any other highest of stakes premiere space host in the room, and you still have tickets to the premiere that you want to, talk about your city. I know we have Chef up here. He's going to be in Tampa. We have Freddie up here. He's going to be in DC. I personally will be in Las Vegas. We have sold out shows for both Friday and Saturday. And the highest of stakes has actually created more showings for Sunday and then the following weekend on the 12th. But if you do, need access to a ticket for Vegas, then I can probably help you out with that. Marco, I'm glad you were able to make it up here.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Hey, I just want to say, listen, fantastic space. I've been hearing you guys since the beginning. KG, KC, all the previous speakers. It's always great to hear you guys. I just want to switch the mood just a little bit, right? And I know we've been talking about Richard Hart this whole time, but I would like to say just for 1 second, think about yourselves, right? Think about the journey you guys had the past 3+ years in this community, right? Think about the first streams we joined, right? The first time we interacted with each other, the first Hex, gathering ever, right? Like I look at that and then I look at now, and it's fucking incredible, right? To think about the journey, all the people we met and all the things we thought we will be into, and 3 years later, we're doing this. We're about to have a world premiere where we're all around the country. We would never think there'll be a movie about Hex or the Hexicans or Richard Hart 3 years ago, right? We would never think we would have, music and other communities building things and our own personal wallets and all the new dexes and bridges and all this stuff. All we thought about was, hey guys, what the fuck is a t-shirt? What the hell this does? How many years should I ladder? What are you guys doing? That's what the conversation we had back then. To now we think about it is like, it's incredible, guys. I know the internet and, Twitter for the next probably couple of months, they're going to try to beat us down and make jokes and all that stuff. Don't let it phase you at all, right? Because I don't think there's any community out there. And yes, communities are big, but they're just big in numbers, but they ain't big in family in some sense. They don't work with each other the way we do. They don't build with each other the way we do. You go to a party in Hexicans, right? We go to Freddie Coates' party, and you can literally sit there and point out to almost every single person in that room that either building something, either contributed to building something, or planning to build something, right? When have you heard a community doing this, right? I talk to my friends about crypto all the time. When I hear about their community and what they're doing, I'm like, so yeah, when was the last time you went to, one of these guys' events? When was the last time you heard one of your friends that you met in the community building something? So it's never. It's, oh, I don't know, man. I'm just waiting for, the bull market to come. That's about it, right? So just, take a second and think about all the things we've done and all the things, especially how far Richard Hart has come, we've seen a guy that, he was just making basic sub-help videos to, taking people on, bring your hero here to die. And, then we saw the flamboyant type of Richard, and we seen a guy evolve, and he's evolving to not only better himself, better the community, but at the end of the day, it's not even about fucking crypto. It's about DeFi, right? We don't care about crypto anymore. We care about real crypto, and that's DeFi. And guys, we're literally probably the superstar in this type of situation. Yeah, maybe we like to have in different circumstances, but we're all eyes are on us, and if this turns out well, and Richard Hart some way somehow beats this SEC the way he wants, and everything turns around, like you have to understand, like Hex and Rich and the community would be like a new Mount Rushmore in DeFi, and that will be forever. You understand? Like, if crypto is supposed to be here for good, and DeFi is supposed to be the new thing, and it's supposed to be the true crypto, guys, this is a legacy we're going to leave behind. And in years, 10, 50, 20 years down the road, we get to look back and be like, yo, I was part of that. I remember when KG made the wallet. I remember when KC, did the Hex tour and actually did the PLS tour. I remember Freddie Coates made the coffin video and this, or the first Hex anthem. And I remember when this person did this and that. We get to tell our kids or our grandkids the story of like, yo, we didn't fucking pussy out. We didn't go running when they try to send letters to us. We didn't go running when our name showed up on Twitter. We didn't go running when they try to do it again. No, we stood our ground and we try to fight even harder. And this time around, we're doing it with a smile, because now this time around, the community is with each other. Not everybody's running away scared. Everybody's together doing this. So, guys, congratulations. Honestly, like, take a second and think about that, right? Think about your first time you made the purchase of Hex, your mindset. Where was your life during that time to now, and the people you met and the journey you've been through? Like, it's an incredible thing. And I started to do this like every other day. I started thinking about different journeys I took, different people I interacted with. Like, I remember the first time I met KG, like, he was just struggling just to get his system set up, his streaming, his camera, all that stuff. And look what he's doing. Like, this fucking guy built like an incredible wallet now, right? Like, Casey, when I first met her to now, like, she's traveling in the United States once again, talking about everything. Like, it's incredible, guys. So be proud of what we achieved, be proud of what we're going to achieve, and be proud of your founder, because this guy, everybody in the whole crypto beat him up for the past years. And now the government wants to beat him up even more, and he's willing to take a stand. It's incredible, guys. Be proud of what you guys did. I love ya. And enjoy the movie. Don't forget, the documentary folks are asking, after you watch the movie, send them basically like a minute or 2 minute clip, or even a 30-second clip of how you feel about it and stuff like that. Spread the word, guys, because this, end of the day, is still a celebration, right? It's a celebration of our energy, our time, our blood, sweat, and tears of this. Plus your grit, right? Like, we fucking did this, right? 3 years later plus. We're being mentioned almost worldwide now. Whether it's good or bad, we are, and it's just the beginning. So congratulations, guys, and let's keep on rocking.
Absolutely, Marco. KG.
Hey, everybody. Apologies. I had to step away for a few minutes. Marco, dude, well said all around. Absolutely beautifully stated. Thank you for the kind words you said about myself and the other people that you mentioned. I couldn't agree with your sentiment more. This has been one of the greatest journeys that I've ever experienced personally with, being in crypto. Some people just buy and hold and hope number goes up, and that's the only crypto experience they ever get. And that's awesome. I do that too. I buy and hold and hope number goes up. But at the same time, and you're right, this is a community, and there's friendships made, and I've met people from all over the world, and I've met people that I never would have met or never would have connected with had it not been for this community. So it's absolutely amazing. And I myself, with this particular Twitter space in here, I'm gonna have to end it fairly soon. So if there's Kaylin, you're welcome to run this as long as you want, but if everybody's kind of feeling that, we should go once around the room for final sentiments, final thoughts. But I'm going to have to end it myself soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on the same page. I know Triplet probably wants to talk about his premiere site. We have about 3 people that can have their final words, and then we can close it down. Go ahead, Triplet Dad.
Thank you, Black Hexagon. You're awesome. I am the host for Dublin, California. My life is awesome. Lit has made my job easy, as well as J Money and everybody. Our first night sold out. We do have some tickets available. If you would like to go to the Friday night event, shoot me a DM. We have a couple of extra tickets that some of our community has bought for people who weren't able to get the tickets on the site. There's still a couple of tickets left for Saturday. Sites close to us, San Francisco, is sold out Friday night. Still a few tickets left on Saturday night. And of course, I want to pump the PulseChain tour. We have done Dublin, Portland, and Seattle. We're going to go to Miami and Austin, and anybody else that would like to participate in a community event that you may think that you've heard it all before, or you've seen RG3 talk, or you've seen Crypto Coffee talk. It is a completely different thing when you get there with a bunch of people that are like-minded. It's a great community building event, and I'm going to try to hit Phoenix as well. Thank you, Black Hexagon.
Thank you, Triplet. You guys have been a huge supporter of the tour, and we appreciate everything you guys are doing to build the community. Alcimac.
Hey, I last thing I wanted to mention was, so I'm out here in Portland, and I was actually the first one to buy tickets for tomorrow. And funny story, I actually deleted the email, so I'm actually on my way right now to the theater to figure out, how can they either send me another email or give me some tickets so that I show up tomorrow and I'm able to see the show. But yeah, so I was just wondering, anybody else in Portland? I did hear Triplet Dad. Shout out Triplet Dad as well. This guy's from San Jose, which is where I'm from. I just heard you're going to be out here too, so definitely keep in touch. But yeah, it'd be cool to see who's going to be in Portland, just to see we can go ahead and maybe get together and spread the message even more. But thanks, everybody.
Absolutely. I'll try to connect you with Crypto Compassion. I know he's in that space. I know that Triplet Dad is in Dublin, California for the premiere, but I'll try and connect you with Crypto Compassion. Jacko, and then we'll close out hopefully with Chef.
Hi there, guys. Hope you guys can hear me. Sorry, I just jumped on here now. I was busy with some other stuff. Yeah, I just wanted to. Yeah, the day has basically arrived, and I think the documentary starts showing today. Is it? So yeah, just want to echo what someone said earlier. Look at how far we've come. Also, I was in a space a little bit earlier with Katie, and Marco was on there, and I think he said something very, very important. And that is that we need to, as a community, maybe start showing the rest of the world, or the people that do not know Richard like we do, the real Richard, not the outrageous Richard. We need to start showing the world that side of him. So Marco made some suggestions to maybe do some clips, YouTube clips, where we can show Richard actually giving good advice and trying to help people. Just to show that side of him, because I think all of us, we know that side of him. And I think we all know that the outrage marketing was just it was a means to an end. And funny enough, I think the people that dislike him by word of mouth. It's because of something that someone else said, and not what they actually experienced firsthand. My friend, a friend of mine actually, at the beginning of last year, when I first heard of Pulse, I missed the Pulse sacrifice, but I managed to get into the Pulse X sacrifice. And when I told my friend about it, and he's been in crypto for about 2 years longer than I was, and at that stage, he said to me, no, stay away. Check out Twitter. Richard Hart is a big scammer, etc., etc. And by that time, I've watched one or two of his live streams, and I said, no. It doesn't make sense. X is still up and running. There's no problems with X. People are still, they can still stake, they can still deposit, they can still withdraw the X. So yeah, I just thought, no, I'm going to ignore his advice this time, and I'm really, really glad I did, because that sent me on a journey of basically a year and a half up until now. And yeah, as you guys said, look at where we are now. So yeah, the other thing I just wanted to mention, and I was wondering if maybe some of you guys maybe you have some idea. That we know this court case, this upcoming court case with the ACC. You know, it's almost surreal, really, because we've got the movie coming out, we've got PulseChain up and running, and now all of a sudden we've got this court case also in the mix. So I feel like we've really been given sort of a stage, and the spotlight really is on this entire ecosystem and the project. And you know, there's a real chance to just make everybody aware, everybody that doesn't know about PulseChain yet. This is a golden opportunity. And yes, if Richard chooses to take on the SEC, and if he wins, that would even be better. But I'm just wondering, do you, any of you guys maybe have an idea, maybe of how long the court case might drag on, or will this be a quick slam dunk thing? Is there a possibility that the judge could just throw it out of court? Curious to hear your thoughts on it. And yeah, also just thanks for everybody that for everything that everybody's been doing and is doing. Yeah, it's a great time for PulseChain and for this project, and even for myself as well. Thanks, you guys.
So I don't think anybody can accurately answer how long it's going to take. We can speculate, but I'm going to have to pass that because I have a young human who needs my attention.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, KG. No clue. We have no idea. Anything that anyone says would just be complete speculation. So I feel like we've talked around this as much as we possibly could. And we're just going to, let Chef say his piece, and then we're going to close out this space.
Hey, KCB, just before you let Chef go, just really, really quick, I just want to say one little statement. So what the gentleman mentioned before was I suggested everybody on Twitter, they should just go to hexsearch.io and once in a while, grab your favorite clip of Richard Hart, whether it's 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and just post it, right, on Twitter. And all the Hexagons just do that little by little here and there. All people are going to see on Twitter is nothing but of the old Richard Hart that we know, the educational Richard Hart. And that could be a huge impact for Richard, the community, and just maybe his case in general. So that's my little thing. That's all. Sorry, Chief.
No, you're good, brother. Good. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think this is just a time more than ever that we just need to all band together as a community and project builders out there to band together to just fight against this thing more. Second, again, if you are in the Tampa area and do not have a ticket, again, that's Tampa, Florida. I do have 2 or 3 tickets that I can hand out. We are doing a meetup at 4 p.m. at BJ's Restaurant in Pinellas Park. It's going to be right by the movie theater at 4 o'clock. My best friend's going to come around 6:15. We're going to do video shooting, get all y'all's reactions, walking into the movie theater, all that. So bring your A game, bring the hype. It's going to be lit. I'm not sure about an after party yet, but I'm still it's Tampa. It's always going to be lit out here. So I'm sure we're going to find something to do. KG, Black Hexagon, everybody that has came through, much love. You guys are the leaders in this group. You lead by example. You're ahead of the game more than everybody else. Just much love to all of you guys. Freddie, Top Gun, Don, just to name a few people out there. Love all you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Chef. My final words is just to say, please go to PulseChainTour.com. We appreciate your support. We appreciate, being a part of the community and actually getting out there, shaking hands and meeting the community and showing that we're here to stay. Freddie, if you want to go ahead and say your last word, then KG, it's all you. But
Thank you guys. KG, thank you for having me up, man. You've always been a class act from the first time I met you in Vegas. For over a year now that, I've gotten to know you. You're just an awesome guy, great family man. It's amazing to see people like you in this community developing. And it's not just, slime balls trying to take advantage of people. And most of the community is that way. Most of the community is awesome people. Okay, you're amazing. I can't speak enough about you and our friendship. And we talk all the time. And sometimes we won't talk for a week or two. But then when we talk, we're on the phone for like an hour and a half. And Amber's like, what in the hell? You talked to her more than me today. And I'm just like, she gets it, though. She calls you my hex wife. But thank you guys so much. Thank everybody in the chat room. I don't know if it was discussed, but Raj just got here and he was saying that MetaMask is going to stop hex transfers. I don't know if anyone's heard that or read that yet, but it might be breaking news. But I just wanted to drop that in here. It sounds like Internet Money might be having some big gains. Let's go, boys. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Wow, Freddie,
MetaMask already just stopped swap.
you could not have set me up for a better alley-oop, bro. Here comes the dunk, all right? Yes, we do know at this moment in time that MetaMask has blocked hex trading. Now, that may be news that they block hex transfers or whatever. We don't know how it's going to play out. But what I do know for a statement of fact is that InternetMoney.io, the native PulseChain wallet, will never gatekeep or suppress this community. We are here to liberate this community, and we are here to give financial freedom tools for this community. When you download the Internet Money Wallet, when you support the Internet Money Wallet, you support financial freedom for PulseChain, for Hex, for PulseX, and all the builders on this chain. And with that, I am going to say that crypto stands together with Richard Hart against the SEC for our financial freedoms. With that, thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you have a good night, day, morning, wherever it is you are in the
Fuck
world.
Uniswap.
Yes, sir.
Fuck MetaMask. At the end of the day, word is born. LL Cool J said it best. This is gonna be Richard Hart at the end. I guarantee you this first 16 bars.
Can I take a quick 10 seconds? I wanted to say, like, if